Two, hello. Check. I'm really... Hair-wise, I'm really past the point of no return here. This is, like, wild. I really need to do something about this. I think I had a scary moment the other day where I saw my health... I saw myself on here, and I was like, you know, it looks kind of cool. You have that moment where it's like, maybe I should just go with it. Maybe I should just let it go. Maybe I should just let it go. But it's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm an adult. I'm nearly a middle-aged man. I have to take like pictures for my health card soon. Like I can't look like this. Look at me. I know it is Midwestern emo. I know. And like I grew up in Eastern Ontario, which I think technically doesn't count as being the Midwest, but I think culturally is very similar. So that's my background. A health card is in Quebec. You get a little card with your picture on it, and when you can go to a walk-in clinic and show your card, and then you can go see a doctor if you have to. It's pretty interesting. It's a pretty interesting system. It's becoming harder and harder to actually get an appointment in one of these places. It's virtually impossible to have a family doctor. I don't even know how you do that. I don't even know how you get a family doctor. I wouldn't know the first thing about it. And yeah, but you can go to a walk-in health clinic if you're having any kind of health issue, and you show your health card, which they take part of you pay taxes every year. It's this whole system where you pay taxes every year. I know many of you, especially people in America, are familiar with this. You pay taxes, but one interesting difference, one thing that happens here is they take some of that tax money and they use it to fund like hospitals and stuff. So if you pay taxes and you ever need to see a doctor, or really even if you don't, you can still see a doctor, but they take some of that money every year and they fund like health care stuff. So if you need to see it, if you have like some kind of health issue, you can go see a doctor. If they prescribe you medication, that becomes a different story. That becomes a little dicier if they prescribe you medication. If you don't have private insurance on top of your provincial. I know it is wild stuff. It is wild stuff. If you need to get your teeth checked up, that doesn't count. Obviously, teeth don't count as part of healthcare. Your mouth bones don't count as being part of your body, so that's going to be a problem. If you see a doctor and they say, okay, well, here's your problem, and they prescribe you a bunch of medication and you don't have private insurance that covers that, that's going to be an issue. I'm familiar with the paying taxes part, and it stops right there. That's the amazing part about a lot of Americans, too. It's just like the idea that you would pay taxes and get something back in return is so like foreign to a lot of people. And then these libertarian guys are just like, I don't want to pay taxes. And it's like, no, it's like the taxes aren't the problem. It's the fact that they're taking your taxes and you don't get anything in exchange for that. That's the kind of messed up part. That's where it gets, I think, off course. Anyway, don't go thinking that like Canada or Quebec is some kind of socialist paradise, because all these Quebec definitely is probably the closest place that resembles like what remains of some kind of social democracy, like probably in this country, or probably on the continent. But it's still being like privatized. It's still being underfunded with COVID as well. All these public health systems have taken a big hit that hasn't been compensated. So the problem is you're getting about 25% of your surplus labor value. That's the whole thing. Yeah. The taxes aren't the problem. It's that your boss should be giving you more money. That's the problem. Oh shit, I didn't reset my sub goal. Or wouldn't that be nice if it was just filled at the beginning of the day? But alas, not. Alas, it is not. So 30% of 25% goes to taxes. Yeah, exactly. And then it's like they take that tax money and they're just like, now we're just going to give it to Lockheed Martin. There we go. We're being gutted as we speak. Yeah, Ontario, like all across Canada. Ontario is one of the main places where it's happening, but all across Canada it's being gutted. I still feel like in Quebec there will always be some holdover because Quebecers are very stubborn about that kind of stuff. But overall, this public health system is on its way out. It seems like we have like phone companies. We have our telecom monopolies stepping up to be like, hey, we can do healthcare too. And the people that own the country are just like, that sounds great. That's great. Sounds good. Yeah, no, that's the thing, Brian. It's like you're getting screwed. You know that sensation that you're feeling that you're getting completely screwed every single day of your life? That's totally accurate. You're not getting screwed by the government taking your taxes, although in the United States you are being screwed by them as well, as they take your taxes and just hand it over to weapons contractors and just spit in your face. But yeah, you're getting screwed over by your boss. Like that is the problem. So yeah, when you're paying taxes on the money that you should be getting way more of, and your taxes you're getting nothing in return. Yeah, that's not nothing in return. Yeah, that's a pretty shitty deal. That is. But then people take that and be like, we just need to get the government out of the way, and they fail to address that second part. I keep waiting for Bezos to set up a little company town. Well, Musk is doing it right now. Like, that's obviously what's next. That is obviously what's next. They're setting up these little, like, Bioshock-ass company towns. You're the product. That's right. That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Brian. R.I.P. to Jackie. He was a real one. Never trust the government. Vote. By the way, vote for me. Vote for me. I'm going to get that pesky government out of your hair. Don't you worry. By cutting taxes for your boss. Oh yes, sir. This sounds great. Anyway, I got a sandwich, folks. I made a meatball sandwich. I had some leftover meatballs, and yesterday I kind of felt like I was eating them like with the bread on the side, and then I was like, why don't I just make a meatball sandwich with this? So I used my remaining meatballs to make this. It's going to be really, really difficult to eat this without making a big mess. Hey, Lon, how's it going? Did you see the sandwich? Meatball Rob at it again. I've finally got, I think, a method for my, like, pasta sauce, like red sauce or whatever you call it, that I can reliably do each and every time. I've been wanting to, like, I felt like I'm in my past making spaghetti sauce. It's always different. It's different every time. I'm doing different things every time. I've never settled on anything. I'm never happy with it. I'm never satisfied with it. I end up getting the shit from the sauce, the sauce from the store, which I also don't like. So I'm finally, I think, getting to a point where I'm happy with my, like, spaghetti sauce recipe, just by the gallon jug of ragu. And it's not where I want it to be yet. But it's at the point where it's like, okay, this is pretty good. I make a decent sauce. You seem like a very good cook, Lon. I've seen a lot of your cooking stuff. It's always very appetizing. 5-gallon bucket of Prego. Just put it in one of those hats or like a backpack and just like slurp off it. Well, the main thing that's been a difference maker for me is the canned whole tomatoes and tomato paste. You got to use those. And this is kind of I know some people make meatballs like out of beef, like ground beef or whatever. That's generally what you're supposed to do. I do kind of like a cheat on that, which I also just enjoy, which I just take sausage, like Italian sausage, ideally spicy. And you just kind of take the sausage and just kind of like squeeze the meat into the pan. So they're like pork meatballs or whatever. No, I don't use anchovy paste, but that's an interesting tip as well. So I fry up the meatballs and with some onion and a bunch of spices, garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, pepper. Fry those up. Add the tomato paste. Get them all like gooey and tomato pasty. Add the whole tomatoes. Give it a nice stir. Probably add some more pepper or some more spices. I also put some like chopped up spicy pepper in this one as well, which is something I hadn't tried before, but made it a lot spicier, which I enjoyed. Sometimes you can add ground beef as well if you want it to be really like hearty. The splash, I know the red wine is crucial, but I'm not at that level yet. I'm not at that level. Yeah, the sugar is essential, JJ. That's what I was going to say. It's like I always, even when I was doing that, it still has that very kind of like tomatoey, acidy taste. And the sugar, adding sugar and then tasting and then adding more or if not more if you don't need it. That's been absolutely essential to cut down on that like acidity. The red wine is necessary too. I guess I got to incorporate that as well. I just never have it. I never have it lying around. You can use a whole carrot instead of sugar, then just take it out at the end. Well, that's wild. That's a wacky tip. Anyway, that's what I've been doing. It's a pretty good spaghetti sauce. I made it the other night. I use cherry tomatoes for the base. You saute them whole until they start bursting, then use a pasta cutter to break them up in the pan. That sounds good too. Anyway, my sauce is pretty decent. I think I'm at a point. It's not perfect. I still need to experiment more. But it's getting there. And now I've used the leftover meatballs that I made for the sandwich, which I'm now going to eat. And it's probably just going to get all over the place. I also made an iced coffee. So that's my lunch. Meatball sandwich and iced coffee. What is everyone else working on? Okay, that's good. That's good. Ate a bunch of chicken tortilla soup. That sounds nice. That sounds very nice. Okay. Okay, yeah. Jamaican patty, eating a beef patty I got from the bakery in the metro. There we go. So it's not just a clever name. That looked having beer for lunch. That's pretty outrageous. That's pretty outrageous. You know what I've really been getting into lately? Like, I really don't drink very much. when I do, I probably have a maximum of 2 beers. That's probably my limit. It's really not good for me though. Like I shouldn't do it at all. Physically, it's just not good for me, but I fucking enjoy having a nice cold beer sometimes. You know, sometimes it's nice to sit down and relax with a cold beer, as you know. Hey Nick, how's it going? Welcome. But I'm getting into those sour beers. The sour beers. Those are nice. I'm really looking forward to this summer kicking back when it gets really hot with a nice cold sour beer. Nedlock, that's what I have right now. There we go. Summer sours. Wonderful, Nick. Wonderful. We're going to have to enjoy a nice cold summer sour at some point in the next couple of months, Nick. And Lana, you're invited as well. We're allowed an occasional frosty beer as a treat. That's right. We are. We are. And it really does fuck me up, but I do very much enjoy it. Here's my sandwich status. In case anyone was curious, I've got to eat it off camera so you don't see me getting sauce all over my face and everything. I'm not a big drinker, but I'll have N beer. That's all I'm ever really interested in as well. So having a single beer, maybe 2, in a park or whatever, wonderful. Okay, that was pretty good. Yeah, I know, Jay. Just give me a moment here. Give me a moment. If it's day drinking, it's got to be like 4% or less. I can't get faded that early. Just generally for me, I just genuinely enjoy my beers to be like 3.5%. I think that's my ideal. That's my ideal percentage. I'm not one of these guys that's like, have you tried this new like 7% IPA? It's just like biting into a handful of hops. And I'm like, no, I haven't tried that, and that doesn't sound interesting to me. I don't enjoy that, and I don't want to do that. Okay, that sandwich was very nice, though. You never got it back at the Abbey. No, I wouldn't. That sandwich was really good. I think that's the move from now on. When I make a sauce, you keep some in the sauce for next day to make a sandwich out of. Next time I'm going to try it with some French bread. And you know what? Like, you know what has occurred to me as well? It's like I live in one of the best cheese cities in the entire world. I live in one of the best cheese cities in the entire world, and I feel like I never get good cheese. I get totally average grocery store cheese. And it's like, why? Why am I not taking advantage of this place, this wonderful place where I live, where I have access to some of the absolute finest cheese on the entire planet Earth? So I really want to get some... I hate it when a beer tastes like a dirty boot and everyone says it's good. I don't get these people either. I'm the idiot for not wanting to drink armpit stink diesel. That's how I feel about it as well. There must be a good fromagerie near you. Of course there has to be. It's insane. It's literally insane that I don't do this. And what I would like to get is some fresh mozzarella. You know? I would really like to get some fresh mozzarella, and I would like to make one of these sandwiches with like an actual like French bread or like hoagie bun or whatever, and the meatballs and some nice fresh mozzarella on there. Throw it in the oven and get the whole melty thing. Hey, that's right. I've got to do this. I got to find some fresh mozzarella somewhere. That's satisfying. That's very satisfying. How hard is it to make your own cheese at home? I imagine it's kind of hard. I don't know if I have the time in my life to be devoting to learning how to do that. The next thing you know, you start making cheese at home, and next thing you know, you're a cheese person, right? And then that becomes your whole life. You try to have company over, they're like, what is that? They're like, oh, don't mind my big vat of like brining goat excretion or whatever. Like, I don't know. You know, you don't want to become one of those guys. You need a cheese cave. That's right. You're turning into a cheesemonger. It's the same with coffee making and brewing beer. For sure. It just takes over your whole personality. When I was in Italy a few years ago, we had that fresh, like the buffalo mozzarella, and that was probably like, that was one of the best things I've ever had, I think. I still think about it sometimes, just like eating the cheese just on its own. I don't know if you can get that here. I don't know if you can get that. I know we live in a fancy cheese place, but I don't know, because I think it needs to be like fresh. No feta hate over here. I enjoy a feta. I very much enjoy a feta. You can, but it's expensive. Okay. Yeah, they get coffee and beer figured out. I'm going to let someone else take care of that. And cheese as well. The best cheese is American sliced singles. Well, for some things, it's the best cheese. It's the best cheese for burgers, for sure. If I'm going to have a burger, I don't want a buffalo mozzarella on there. I want an orange, square American sliced cheese single on there. Oh, that was good. That was a nice lunch. I think I just need like maybe some kind of fruit component, and then I'm going to be good. Food grade plastic that we call cheese. That's right. It just lives in our bodies forever. That's how you know it's good. It stays in your part of your bloodstream and physically changes you. When you die, it's still present in your body. That's how you know that's the good stuff. I like to make stuffed pasta, but like fresh spaghetti, I can leave it to the experts. Did anyone see that like viral TikTok? There's one of these wet, insane food TikToks of this lady that like takes spaghetti and puts the spaghetti in her blender and blends the spaghetti into a dust, and then combines the dust with an egg and rolls it into like new pasta. It's just like, why? Why are you doing this? I love how everyone saw this video and is like mad at just bringing it up.
You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Just use flour. It was so bizarre. And I think she was just using after like sauce from the like can or from the jar. Thank you, Brian, for the gifted sub. It's hard because it was very thin. Lana's so upset. That's great. Yeah, no, I didn't get that either. And it's hard to tell because I think there's a lot of like food content on TikTok and other social networks, but like I think primarily TikTok, that's like you don't know whether it's really someone being sincere or not. I guess it doesn't matter if you're doing something gross and upsetting. Then it's just like that's the result that you can't avoid going to. But everyone's so creative, so you never know. Like all the stuff with like people in there making stuff in toilets, like toilet dessert and stuff. And you know that it's just this insane, like the algorithm has decided that like that kind of content is going to be seen by millions of people. And then people get like pulled into this thing where that becomes their life. Yeah. Or the people that make mustard gas. That's right. Yeah. What is that going on? What is going on with that? So you never know. I don't know if the like deconstructed, reconstructed pasta lady was being sincere or what. There's always someone off camera just being like, wow. As they're mixing like Skittles and meatballs and pasta sauce and stuff, just like spreading it all over the table. And there's someone off camera just being like, wow. It's so bizarre. It's a whole genre. It's a whole subgenre of online content now. I had a roommate one time who tried to clear a clogged sink by putting bleach and ammonia into it. Yeah, you want to avoid that. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Nick. The husband. He was like, wow, that looks so good. The most disgusting thing I've ever seen. But that has to be intentional. It has to be, right? I'm excited to try the Velveeta. You're rolling in Skittles and deep frying. There's one, I posted it in the Discord server. There's one TikTok food video though that like on the other side of this spectrum looked so good to me that I think about it probably every day. I posted it in the Discord servers that this chef, I think he's Japanese, and he gets this gigantic like, I think it's either tuna. I think it's a gigantic tuna thing, and he splits it in half and makes one like raw salad with cucumbers and sauce, and makes one of these gigantic like tempura things. And it looked like I think about it often. Like it looked so good. I think it's the always smiling guy. I think it's him. Yeah. I think it's him. I want to try and find this video now to show you. There's a lot going on in the food chat Discord. I don't tune into this enough. From Rob Rousseau, no results were found. Okay, good. Good. I love watching vids of aspirational foods I hope to eat. Sometimes TikTok is so evil too, where it's like late at night. I'll maybe open TikTok at like late at night when I'm just kind of like zoned out on the sofa or whatever and start scrolling, and TikTok just decides that like what you want to see right now is like video after video of like the people cooking and eating just like ludicrous amounts of like the most delicious looking food you can possibly imagine, and you just sit there going like and it just like it's really hard, but sometimes it's really good. There's this one lady that does like mukbang videos, and she's like small, and she eats like the ludicrous amounts of food that like physically it doesn't even make sense. She'll sit there and eat like 12 eggs and like a giant thing of noodles, and it's like, what is going on? How is that even possible? If I tried to do that, I would actually die. I would die eating what that lady just did. Yes, I am trying to help China. I am, yes. Do they throw up between? That kind of adds kind of a sad and disturbing element to it. I hope that's not true. I got to show you this one. I got to show you this one. Check this out. You hate this guy? Why do you hate this guy? I mean, I can see why the guy could be irritating, but some of the food he makes looks really good. Especially this. This is the style, the cutting. It's like a Darren Aronofsky movie. Oh, man. Come on, though. Come on. It's supposed to be raw. I can see why the mannerisms are annoying, though. I can see. Jay is not on board. Yeah, raw tuna or sashimi or whatever can be tremendous. That sauce looks really good, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. I thought he was going to fry up those long strips of tuna, but I would eat them raw too. Well, that's why he had the both. You have the tempura pieces, and then you had the raw salad. Never had sushi before, and I never will. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. I love that shit. I love that kind of shit. The audio is kind of gross, but there's a whole genre of that. It's not just that guy. There's literally people that just like I've discovered these like this like random Chinese guy that just you have like these like they have like throat mics, and you can hear every like slurp and like swallow. It's like disgusting, but I find it hard. I find it strangely compelling. I don't know. It's like that part in not Glass Onion, but the other one, Knives Out. Makes no damn sense. Compels me though. This no, Lana, I didn't see what you posted. Check this guy out. Okay. I see. I'm 90% sure I've already seen this. The gigantic ostrich leg. Amazing. I like, there's no genre of cooking video I like more than like random person in the rural Chinese countryside just making some like incredible looking food in like a giant pot with like a ridiculous amount of spices. Incredible genre of video. Yeah, it's absolutely the best genre for sure. Oh my. Oh, Dimitri, I know that I can find that for you. The Chinese Bros slapping game. I've found them. I found the account on TikTok. They're always doing that's their whole thing now. They're just inventing crazy sports and doing wild shit and just having the greatest time. I posted one on Twitter the other day of the guys hitting their faces, trying to pop the balloons in the mud. I'll show you that after. Wonderful. Good Lord. The kitty has a little piece too. Okay. So I can find the slapping game video after, but this is the one I found the other day, which was also very good. Their laughter is just infectious.
道歉。哎呦，妹妹，完了，我看你俩。嘿，嘿，嘿。再来！来我，嘿，嘿，你还没开始。把手别动了。
This is just dudes. This is classic example of dudes just rocking.
那么难呢？你得找我来个，哎呀，我记错了呀。
If you turn on our media, they tell us we need to hate and fear these people. Do these look like people that are like scary in any way? Wouldn't you want to hang out with these guys? I bet these guys are eating great meals. Yeah, these are the guys that hop up the mud steps. Yeah. So what's Magic Prank? That's the TikTok account. These guys are doing stuff this one was good too. Yeah, this is good. It's Marxism, Leninism, dumbassism. I'll try to see, they're doing this stuff all the time. So they have one, they don't have one pinned. Where's the mud steps? I'll try and find that. Is it this one? That's another edition of the same game. There's the balloons. I'm trying to, because I saw there's one mud step game. Oh, I think it's this. Here we go. My kid loves this too. I show him this kind of stuff all the time. He loves it.
You can count on me and have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Dimitri, for the gifted sub.
快接接！嘿，嘿，嘿！啊！哎呀！哎呀！出来！你相信我，你看我来。
I want to hang out with these guys so bad. This is totally wrestling as well. Look at this guy's facial expressions, Lana. Yes, he gets betrayed each time. Just hooting and hollering with your bros. There's nothing like it. This transcends culture. This transcends borders. Yeah, I think that came up either yesterday or the day before, Lana. Someone was saying that. It's amazing. We're gonna get the first TRRS meetup. We're gonna find a place to do this game as a team building exercise. Making the pillow as wet as possible is the funniest aspect too. For something that's seeing them rub the pillow in the muddy water is what makes it, what really puts it over the top for me. Like, it's just wonderful. Absolutely amazing. I love these guys. This is the nefarious side of Chinese TikTok the U.S. government doesn't want you to see. Well, unironically, like, this is what the China watchers, the people that are like super paranoid about this shit, they see that kind of content, and instead of having the normal reaction that a normal human being has, where you're like, look at these guys having fun, this looks wonderful. Turns out we're not so different after all. They say, like, this is all part of like an evil, nefarious plot by the CCP to make us think that there's these people in rural China like eating delicious food and drinking beer and hooting and hollering with their friends and being cool. This is all part of a devious propaganda campaign. And it's like, you know, people will just like look at Chinese people walking around in like a shopping mall and being like, look at this evil propaganda. They just want us to think that this is like a normal place filled with other human beings just going about their lives. Wow. How dare they? How dare they engage in this kind of propaganda? You know? Yeah, how could these people be laughing when what's happening with the Uyghurs? Ask yourself that, how fucked up that is. How can they be having a good time and enjoying their lives? We must ask them, they must respond to this. They must condemn their own government in order for us to take them seriously as people. You're laughing in the mud. You're laughing in the mud while your country is out there committing human rights violations. Wow. Wow. Says the like American or Canadian, you know. It's really ludicrous. It really is. But like that's unironically how people talk about it. That's unironically how people talk about it. I don't totally know how it works, honestly, you in person, in terms of the firewall and the VPNs and stuff. I know using VPNs is widespread in China. Like it's not particularly abnormal or controversial. As the Canadian packs the dirt of Indigenous children's graves. That's right. You're turning off your radio debate to listen to TikTok, and you're like, I can't believe these Chinese people, evil, laughing. As the radio is like talking about how we have yet to act on any of the recommendations from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Like, I'm trying to look at TikTok. Oh, that's a shame. Look at that. Disgusting. You know? Anyone who wants to use a VPN does, and no one does anything, versus our new bill where if you connect to an American enemy via VPN, 20 years and up to $1 million fine. And they can like go into all your computer and take all your information with zero privacy or whatever. Like it's unbelievable the shit that is in that new bill. Like I almost don't even want to fathom the idea that it's actually going to pass, because it very well could, and it's going to probably pretty much be the end of the internet as we've come to understand it. I'm just gonna get I'm gonna get another beverage. I got a new bubbly flavor actually that I haven't tried yet, so I can try it right now for your amusement. Just one moment. The goofy-ass Wall Street Journal headline saying Xi Jinping is breaking with tradition, having gray hair since consolidating power. It's fucking amazing the way what passes for sort of analysis. The two teacups thing was interesting as well. What is it? What could this possibly mean? Maybe he was thirsty. I don't know. Like maybe that's all it is. Anyway, check it out. I don't know if anyone's had one of these. I got a watermelon bubbly. I haven't tried it. I usually like to get pineapple. Wasn't available at the store today. I'm going to give this a try. Chin chin. Hildy's got grapefruit bubbly. That's a good one. That was nice. Subtle. It is very nice. Envy Adams. It's good. I like that. The cherry is good. I enjoy the orange. It's just overall, it's a good product. I am in touch with this is kind of funny, but I'm getting in touch with Liquid Death to see if I can get some free shit from Liquid Death. So I might be back in the sponsorship game. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they're always like, "Oh, are you man or woman enough to have our product?" Well, they're going to test their mettle. We'll see whether they want to be affiliated with this kind of content. Okay. So I guess now that it's been like an hour of talking about sandwiches and looking at TikToks and just kind of hanging out, I would like to look at more of this like Trump footage that happened yesterday. I didn't watch any of his rally or any of that stuff, so we can take a look at that. There's a whole thread of like different conservative freakouts over it. There's no shortage of stuff of related content that we can take a look at. Hello, Danger Dave Ball. What is up? Yeah, I was happy I didn't like try and stay around for any like the Trump statement or anything like that. It seemed kind of like a little anticlimactic. From what I did see of it, the big man seemed like he'd had a long day and he was about ready to take a little nap. So I had a $20 sparkling water at a $200 restaurant that had a water sommelier. It's legit the best water I ever had. Also, that water sommelier is the thing. There's another TikTok. We've looked at it before. This like German guy that reviews waters. That's really funny. Did you see Cheney Stan on Twitter freaking the fuck out over the mayoral race in Chicago? I didn't see that, but I imagine there's a lot of people freaking out over that, which is exciting. I mean, did the result end up going to the more progressive guy that all the cops said that they were going to quit? Brandon? Yeah. I didn't pay, like, I knew that it was going on, but I didn't like pay close attention to it. The guy seems cool though. Yeah. For the it's only the Chicago Police Department, literally one of the most violent criminal gangs probably in American history. It would be a damn shame if a bunch of them just quit because one person that was mildly critical of them was in a position of power in the local government. I imagine there's a lot of people freaking out over that, though. That's nice. It's amazing how, like, even anyone even remotely progressive gets treated like there's some threat, this like dangerous threat, while these absolute right-wing lunatics just run rampant over the entire country politically at every level of government, from school board to state government. The absolute most unhinged right-wing people, and that's just fine. But the moment someone comes along, it's like, we should have like a higher marginal tax rate. We should like reform police. We should like support teachers and nurses. We should have some like progressive like urban planning. And they go, ah, like, and they just people can't handle it. Not just reactionaries, but like liberals as well. That's easy. The left is a genuine threat to the entitlement that animates conservatives and many libs. Well, that's right. That's right. I mean, I posted this on Twitter the other day, Dave, about how, it's hard to watch what happened to someone like Jeremy Corbyn and then still have faith that you can still sort of reform our political system like through this electoral process. And someone was like, well, George Wallace was really unpopular. And then 20 years later, all his platform is being enacted. And it's like, I wonder what the difference is. I wonder. It's just two people that lost elections and then eventually their political project ended up succeeding. But what's the difference between these two political projects? We just don't know. Cops are the biggest babies in the world. It's true. This is the good shit? Okay, we can... I fucking hate the Doge thing. So is this like a liberal, neoconservative? Jesus, what a cursed account. Good gracious. Goodness gracious me. This is...
To be quite fucking...
Oh boy. Liz Cheney fan of principles, neoconservative globalist, NATO stan, DeSantis 24, Bush Republican, Irish Roman Catholic, Liz Cheney's #1 fan. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen. That's one of the worst Twitter accounts I've ever seen in my life. Please, this has to go away. It's so annoying, the Doge thing. Jesus Christ. Anyway, let's hear what this fellow has to say.
Frank, Chicago. To be quite fucking frank, Chicago deserves everything they just voted for. To be quite frank. They just voted for schools to be shut down indefinitely, as they did during the pandemic. The teachers' unions were fucking insane, psychotic. They literally rioted so students could not be in school. Fucking ridiculous. And now they just got the mayorship. That whole city is fucking done. If I lived in Chicago, I'd leave. If you live in Chicago and you listen,
you don't even live in Chicago, sir.
Leave fucking immediately. Fucking ridiculous, dude.
If I lived in Chicago, I would leave. You don't, though.
Paul Valls literally fixed the whole school system of New Orleans, and now he just lost to some fucking bum person who's in a teachers union. God damn it, dude. I fucking hate this everything,
How
dude.
old is this person?
Fuck.
Like, this person sounds young. That sounds like an early 20s person. That sounds like a young person who's a Liz Cheney fan, a NATO stan, neoconservative globalist, DeSantis, and Bush Republican. That is incredibly fucking grim. My goodness. Excuse me. So a Mosh viewer, maybe, yeah. Maybe. Ideologically, it's pretty much the same thing. Think it's a bit? Well, this is the thing, it's impossible to tell. It's impossible to tell. Chicago has fallen. Because of a guy who's going to be maybe nicer to teachers' unions and maybe might think about cutting the police budget slightly. I thought the neoliberal subreddit was a bit for so long. Yeah, I mean, there's people that are like this. You know? Yeah, or they've just committed to it for so long that it's no longer a bit. That could be possible as well. For sure. Yeah, they absolutely exist. For sure. So let's look at some of this bullshit. Okay? This was posted in the Discord by Dakadoon. Thank you, Dakadoon, for that. So this is just starting off as just a thread of different reactions to yesterday. People are not happy. People are not happy about this, about the imminent arrest, the imminent imprisonment, which we all know is a thing that's going to happen. Famous Horse was looking at this last night, and some of the images where he destroyed his own stuff were taken from somewhere else. Okay. Let's see. Let's see some of these folks. Let's hear from these people.
Bullshit, man. I love you, Trump. I'll be there for you, President, man.
That's just sad.
They just try to...
He won't be there for you, sir.
They don't want you to be president. This bullshit, man.
Pack you a lunch, go ahead and find you a nice seat somewhere and buckle your seatbelt and get ready for the fucking ride that's coming.
This lady probably knows racial slurs that haven't even been heard for generations. She knows like the deep racial slurs that you don't even like hear anymore. She get in her Yukon and just drive. From the ancient tome. That's right. I love hearing right-wingers talk all big and tough, even old Westerny, but Chicago makes them shit their pants in absolute fear. Not even Chicago, but just like any major urban center. It's like Columbus, Ohio. Like I just can't, you will die if you walk around Columbus past 9 p.m. at night, instant death sentence. You know? She's got a collection of vintage slurs in the basement. Absolutely.
Well, it looks like time is about here. And when they knock at my door, I will be locked and loaded. Period. I will defend my home, my family, my freedoms. Period.
Brandon's FEMA soldiers are coming, sir.
I will kill the enemy at my doorstep, or they will kill me.
Brandon's FEMA soldiers are coming to turn your kids trans. Any moment now. Now that Trump's out of the way, is the last line of defense. Trump was the last line of defense. Brandon's FEMA soldiers are going to come and they're going to take your kids and turn them gay or trans or both, depending on what camp they get put into. We don't know. That's the scary thing. We don't even know. FEMA's marching right into your Casper, Wyoming neighborhood. They're going to be there any minute now. Any minute now. Someone pointed out all these chuds have wood paneled walls, and I can't unsee it. That is true. They all have those basements. Those classic basements. This is a James Adamian character. The paneling. Remember the cars as well? I had one of those growing up. The station wagon with the paneling on the side. They should bring that back, frankly. I think it's time to, like, enough time has passed, you can bring back the wood paneling on cars. That would be a sick look. I want a rectangle-ass car with wood paneling on the side. That's what I want to drive around. I want my next car to be a rectangle. Solidly rectangle. We're bringing that back. Did your wagon have the seats in the back that face backwards? This is when I was very young, so I don't really remember. This is when I was really young. And then after that, my mom had a blue Ford Taurus that she drove around for quite a long time. No, not a Cybertruck, not rectangle like that. I wouldn't even describe it as being rectangle. That's more polygonal. It's like a Virtua Cop ass truck. That. Google the Country Squire. Oh yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Give me an electric version of that. I would absolutely love to drive that around. I would be happy to. Or biodiesel or whatever. Whatever's the best way to do it. This is a bus or train. That would be a cool aesthetic to implement. for sure. I think the trains need to look cyberpunky so we can convince people to invest in them by convincing them that it's a new technology. I would like the more retro futuristic design, but I think we need to go with like the bisexual lighting and the neon and stuff so we can convince the tech bros that the train is like a new thing. We can convince them that it's their idea. I think that's the only way that we're getting the trains. If we convince them that it's their idea and we don't call it a train, it's like a, what did we call it? We came up with a name, I think, last time this came up. Yeah, the RGB on the underside, exactly. I'm not factoring tech pros into this arithmetic. I just feel like that's the only way it's going to happen. Locomotrix. Omega Train or something like that. Thank you. That's right. You get some like dry ice. You open the window. It's like. Well, it's not even relying on those guys. I think it's trying to sell gullible people in the government who will give like contracts to Elon Musk by pretending to be one of those guys. It's more that it's not to appease the tech guys. It's to trick people in the state to invest in a train technology by suggesting that it's some new innovative tech thing. Laser train is good too. That's really good. You just have this, it's just a train, but you have some kind of thing on the bottom that you just tell them is like a new fancy laser. No, it's like a laser rail. It's a laser rail. Yeah, it's like if we all shared a giant Uber that runs on this patented laser rail technology. And the person in the government's like, I like this. But it's not a train though, right? And you're like, no, of course not. Anyway, let's continue this segment where I'm looking at these weirdos. We're way off base here. I do want one of those cars though. Absolutely.
There's nothing worse than watching your country die.
The music. He's so sad. Especially if you have kids. This guy probably doesn't believe in climate change. This guy thinks climate change is a George Soros-led conspiracy. But he's so worried about this crooked real estate developer from the 80s New York who grifted his way into becoming president, having a small amount of consequences for his grotesque criminality and corruption. That's the thing that's like, this is really getting to me. Imagine if this is the kind of future we don't want. When corrupt, crooked real estate developers who fall ass backwards into the presidency of the United States and exist entirely to enrich themselves and their rich friends in their class have a small amount of consequences for their awful, disgusting behavior. How do you want to even raise kids in this kind of in this kind of an environment? What are we supposed to say to them? It's amazing. Especially if you have kids.
Take a look at the optics. Take a look at the optics. This is what communist countries do.
Is this a Gusano? Mario Lucas Delgado. I think we got a Gusano possibility.
Banana Republic. Trump 2024. Wake the fuck up. Because you and I will be next. This is the beginning of communism in this country. Wake the fuck up.
Again, communism is when this fucking billionaire con artist, sexual abuser is mildly inconvenienced for like a few days. This is what communism is to me. This is like the most politically aware Gusano. Hello, Up the Reds. What's going on? Is America communist yet? Yes. Yes, it is.
This is the motorcade, President Trump leaving New York City, right? Here goes his motorcade. What we're going to focus on is that right there. That's an ambulance. It literally has the medical sign on the roof. 001 ambulance to be exact. It's going to go with the motorcade. And there's the rest of the motorcade, just waiting for President Trump to pass by. They'll pan back out and I'll show you. They don't send an ambulance. There he goes. They don't send an ambulance for former presidents. Only for current presidents. Why?
Oh, is that a law?
Because they don't need medical help.
There's the wood paneling
like a
again.
current president would. Now we're going to fast forward up here to 32 minutes. And I'll
They
show
only
you.
send ambulances for current presidents.
He's on the
Is
damn
that true?
bridge.
Is that true? I don't know if that's true. Is there a source?
There it
Yeah,
is.
what is this TV mounting situation?
There's the ambulance. That seems peculiar. Why would they do that?
Yeah, why is the TV on the ceiling? Is he laying? What is this? This is like this. It's like The Shining. It's like the Overlook Hotel. Geographically, it just doesn't make sense. America's going to get wrecked in the next world war. The mental fortitude of this country is less by far the weakest upon this earth. Talk about, Mao was right when he called the imperialists a paper tiger, right? I think there's truer words were never spoken.
Been brought up many times, and I said to one person I was going to touch on this subject. So here we go.
You fucking crumble the moment anything even remotely bad happens to you. The Lynchian Media Center.
How are you going to take on the entire U.S. military and the government? Well, Karen and Tony, no offense to all the Karens and Tonys who use their head. Do you understand how many civilians are veterans who had the same training, know all about the same machines that are being used today?
And all these civilians are just instantly going to join the fight, right? Once things kick
Then
off,
there's
right,
the
sir?
whole, how many active duty will flip on the people of this country? I'm going to give you a very, very, very conservative number. 60% will tell them to fuck off.
Is there a source? Is there a source for this claim, sir? It kind of seems like you're just making stuff up. Is this like fantasy booking? You're fantasy booking the revolution right now? I think 60% is going to say like, nope, no thank you. I feel like all these people own small businesses. Oh, absolutely. Of course. And they all got COVID loans as well. That's a conservative estimate. That's right. There's the whole thing always where these kind of like these conservatives who think that they're going to be able to take on the U.S. military or whatever. They think that's why we need, the Second Amendment people. That's why we need the gun laws to be like it is. So we have, if the government we can overthrow the government. And people said, like, well, how are we going to go against the drones and all that stuff? And it's like, well, as we've learned from the people of Vietnam and Korea and people in Afghanistan and Iraq, it's that or elsewhere, anytime there's been kind of like an anti-imperialist or anti-colonial insurgency against an occupying army, of course it's possible to defeat even the Vietnamese proved that you can defeat the most technologically advanced military in human history. You waging this kind of like revolutionary guerrilla war, right? But are you going to do that? Do you know that's not an easy thing to do? I know it's possible. It's, as people around the world have proven it time and time again. I know it's possible. But are these Americans that live in these fucking gated communities, do you have what it takes? Are you going to be one of these people? Are you going to live in the fucking woods and the forest, engaging in this kind of like guerrilla insurgency for years? The Vietnamese spent decades doing this. Do you have that? You won't be able to like go and sit in your nice air conditioned basement and go scroll through TikTok in one hand while you have the game on the other side. There's going to be none of that when you're waging this decades long war insurgency against the U.S. government. Are you aware of that? I don't think a lot of these people have thought this through. I really don't. The actual reality of what they're describing if it were to take place, even with the wildly optimistic estimates that this guy has, even if everything broke as he's saying, I think they've wildly overestimate how this is going to go. I've seen Red Dawn. Yeah, everyone around, all these people around the country, these like conservative reactionaries that have been waiting for this day, they're just going to go in moment one. They're going to just disappear into these into the woods and engage in this this decades long struggle against the military occupation. I don't think you're going to do that at all, sir. I do not think you're going to be doing that at all. They think it'll be like when they watched Red Dawn. Yeah, over in 2 hours. Yeah, that's right. How long did that shot take? Our guerrilla insurgency. What, like maybe a week? Sure, yeah, I can do that. I got a couple of MREs. I got some ammo. I have some water saved up and supplies. I've been buying like prepper supplies from fucking Glenn Beck's website or something. I can take a week, no problem, to overthrow this military occupation. And again, we're talking about the Vietnamese. The Vietnamese fought the French for 20 years and then fought the Americans for 10 years and kicked all their asses. But that's 30 fucking years. And that's not fun nor easy. And required a ridiculous, horrifying level of sacrifice. And also millions and millions of civilians were killed in this process. Is this guy going to do that? Are you going to do that for the next 30 years of your life? No, you're not, sir. No, you are not. Our Tubby insurgency would not even start at any point. Maybe there's some people that are crazy enough to start it, but I don't think any of these people have thought this through, really. Like even this guy was like, yeah, 60% of the people in the armed forces are just going to immediately defect. Even if that were to happen, I don't think any of these people are prepared for the actual genuine reality of the thing that they're advocating for and fantasizing about if were it to happen. We're doing insurgency. Well, we're talking about, Matt, how these folks that make these kind of videos where they're talking about how they're going to fight the U.S. military and protect their freedoms. I don't think they've thought through what that insurgency is going to look like or how long it's going to take. Yeah, I don't think these people will do much more than harass drag queens and refugees and then hide behind the police. That's right. Yeah. A lot of them probably have what it takes to start it, but none of them have what it takes to see it through. That's my read on it. Yeah, it's like Call of Duty in real life. That's right. It's like that's what they think. You know? And even this guy, do you know how many people are veterans? Yeah, if you were living on some fucking, again, a like cushy American military base for a couple of months or maybe even a couple of years, you did a couple of tours, even the most hardcore ones. That's still different from what you're describing, this protracted insurgency against the U.S. military. That's not the same thing as as your tours that you did in Afghanistan or Iraq, which I'm sure were not fun by any stretch. But you also have the full might and the full power of the U.S. military establishment behind you at that point. I thought you were going on my Florida Maoist. Well, at least Maoists, even though I think a lot of Western Maoists can be delusional as well, at least have done a little bit more reading and maybe have a better understanding of what this stuff is going to look like. Yeah, and also, they lost in Afghanistan, and they lost in Vietnam, and they lost in Iraq. Yes, they did. Eating bugs in the forests of the Pacific Northwest could be even worse than MREs in the desert, for sure. Yeah. I don't think downplaying the threat is good. These people are wannabes, but there are actual Nazis in the military who joined for the training, and the percentage of military with hardcore conservative views is very high. I mean, I don't doubt that there are some people. Absolutely. You know, maybe if you take them all together, it's a large number of people as well. But I think I'm talking about a lot of these like suburban preppers or whatever who really don't have any connection to that whatsoever. I don't doubt that there's hardcores that fully believe in this shit and are preparing for it. But I think that's a small, overall, in terms of the kind of people that talk about this stuff, that's a small percentage. I'm reminded of A Fish Called Wanda when the American dude tries to argue that Vietnam was a tie. Yeah. Oh boy, they whipped your hides real good. I love that. We did not lose in Vietnam. It was a tie. A fucking great movie. Kevin Kline in that movie is, I think, maybe my favorite comedic performance in a film ever. It's the Foreign Legion guys coming back from like Ukraine that scared the hell out of me. Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely people that I think are thirsty for this kind of thing and are training right now to engage in this exact behavior. These are the same people who threatened mass suicide over not having Applebee's for a few months during COVID. Exactly. I wasn't able to go get a cold watered down Bud Light and like a blooming onion at Outback Steakhouse for like 3 months. This is the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my fucking life. My incredibly boring life. It's always funny until it isn't. I think, well, you know, I don't doubt that there's dangerous people that engage in this kind of rhetoric. I think my point is, though, that a lot, and I would say the majority of people that post on social media, the like weird QAnon or Tucker Carlson preppers, I think those specific people who have never really even known hardship in their fucking lives don't really fully understand what a protracted insurgency that they kind of fetishize would actually involve. I will riot if I don't get my bland pablum now. Anyway, let's hear more from these guys. Yeah, the other people are in Adam Woff and Discord groups and weekend militia training. I mean, I don't want to downplay the threat either. I know it's like, it is a genuine threat, especially people and as they have been like carrying out, you know, mass shootings and terrorist attacks, which is horrifying. I guess I'm just trying to talk about a kind of a specific group of these people that talk a lot about this stuff without having any understanding of what it's actually going to look like. That's an interesting way of putting it, Rex. America's full of people who would kill for their politics in a heartbeat, but almost none who would risk their own safety for them. Yeah. Not to say it doesn't exist, but a lot of these folks I don't think are prepared for the reality of what they're advocating for.
Conservative number. If you're a veteran or active duty, well, maybe not you active duty guys may not want to speak on this right now. Let us know.
Well, hey, friends. I'm sure I'm not the only one hearing this, and I'm going to let you, of course, be the judge. But I
if
want
he
you
was
to
still
hear-
president, this shit would not be happening. This is amazing. It's been like 3 years. If he was still president, why wouldn't he be like doing president stuff? It makes no sense. This is really like a wild cope that these people are reaching for.
This going on with this, of course, indictment.
Before being brought to the 15th floor for his 15 to 30-minute hearing, sources tell Fox he'll face at least 30 charges related to business fraud.
Secret president. It's so stupid.
Payments. Now, if we turn over here, you'll see.
Oh, absolutely, Lana. We saw that with January 6th. The feds egging them on. How many of these Proud Boys or militia people are feds? A significant amount of them.
A couple of weeks now reporting on what will be the first indictment of a former and current president.
In fact, I don't doubt that a lot of these mass shooters are talking to people that are advocating for them to engage in this kind of stuff as well, which is a whole other layer of that. like American Gladio type stuff.
A couple of weeks now reporting.
Let's listen to that again.
Indictment of a former and current president.
Former and current president. Yes, current president of the United States, it appears.
But why?
What a turn of events.
But why, lady? This is the one thing you can't answer. Why? Why is he a secret president? And why would they just put it on the news like that? It's not even a secret if they're saying it on the news. Like, because he didn't lose the election. Like, what's the, but okay, it's like, I get it. Yeah. Trump is secret. He never actually lost. He's secretly the president. Why though? Why, ma'am? Why, what's the purpose of being a secret president? Why do you have Brandon out there literally doing stuff that you're all getting mad about if he's not the real president? They're all mad about all the stuff that he's doing. Why would you have a fake president out there actually legislating and doing things that you don't like? Yeah, so Trump caused the inflation. That's right. So Trump is doing all the communism that Biden's getting credit for. Like, this is what I don't understand about this idea. Everything's going according to plan. Trust the plan. Is he president? Please, you have a mic and a camera. I'll believe anything you say. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. God, that's bizarre.
Anyway, just thought I'd share. I know I'm not alone in seeing this and wondering the same fucking thing.
Why would he be a secret president, ma'am? Oh, here's this. This is always a good genre of conservative weirdo video where they brush up against the point. They brush up against having an epiphany, and then they don't connect the dots. Those are always fun to look at.
That's what I'm trying to get across to people there. Right there.
The elite will poison our water and animals. It's already happening.
Yeah.
Yes, it
They're
is.
doing it already.
And conservatives that this person probably loves have rubber stamped that process for the last 30 years of elites indeed poisoning your water and food.
They're doing it. We're already fucked. Might as well go out with a fucking bang. And that's the point I'm trying to get across to people. Our generation, we are already fucked.
I mean, that's true.
We're already too deep to be unburied.
It's Trump. That's the amazing thing, that it's Trump, Donald Trump, the most obvious, like, obnoxious New York corrupt real estate silver spoon billionaire. This is the thing for them that's like, I can't believe what's happening to our culture. I can't believe this. We're so screwed. This kind of nihilism is in lockstep with doomer anti-civ type people. That's right. They should get together and hang out.
For a lot of consequences. But if we're going out, we're dead. We're done anyway. We're eliminated. We're executed. We're unalived anyway. So go out like a fucking warrior. Go out like a man. That's what I'm trying to tell people.
Sir, would you be interested in reading a book called State and Revolution? A lot of these people, as we've talked about before, the real red pill. The real red pill, as much as these people talk about like the red pill being like realizing that like women bad or whatever. They think that's what the answer is. All the answers, sir, all the answers are there in this one book. You just need to read this one book. It's not even that long. It's very easy to follow. It will explain everything. It'll explain how the state works. It'll explain how the media works. It'll explain who owns the media and who owns the state and what their goals are. And how their goal is to like take everything from you and give it to the people that are running the machine. And how we need to like flip that on its head. So we take everything from them. All of this stuff is in that book. You just have to read it. And then you'll understand exactly how this works. The Hunger Games analogy is funny too. Someone should unironically trick them into reading Lenin. It would actually be a really funny bit to just take the text of State and Revolution, but give it some like Bill O'Reilly ass like cover for like real patriots want to take back control or whatever. And it's like have some like red faced thumb looking guy on the front being like with an American flag in the background, but it's just the text is just State and Revolution. State and Revolution by Alex Jones. That's right. We need to form a vanguard party. The state is totally owned and operated by the bourgeoisie, folks. A patriot's guide to fighting the elites. That's right. Killing Revolution by Bill O'Reilly. I don't think we should underestimate how racist these people are, but that is very true as well. That is very true. That is an excellent point. These people do be extremely racist. But if we just use slurs, then these people will be on board with our project, you see. I'm a political genius. We'll just start using slurs and being racist ourselves, and then they'll want to be friends with us. Isn't that great? And they'll all want to become communists after. I'm being facetious, of course. Let's hear from this guy.
Donald Trump getting arrested. Why? It doesn't matter who the president is anymore.
I'm going to tell you something, and I think it's okay for me to say it now. I think the cat is about out of the bag. I think there's a lot of people that probably already noticed this, and I'm sure if you use your brain or your eyeballs, you'll be able to tell this too. Newsflash, it's all fake. It's fake. You have people up behind the podiums at Congress, at the White House, supposedly, and it's fake.
It's kayfabe.
It's a big show.
That is true.
You sound like a crazy person. Sure, I guess. Fine. But you've seen the masks. Their faces don't look the same. Their head looks
they're wearing
John
masks
Fetterman
too.
just got a head transplant.
It's not just kayfabe. It's like they're literally wearing masks and stuff. You had me for a moment. And now you lost me. When we start talking about head transplants, that's where you lose me. We can talk about kayfabe. We can talk about, the Republicans versus Democrats and how that's whole fake, and the whole how they all have the same class interests and they're all working together, and there's different wings of the capitalist class in politics and the media, and they're all working together. Really, we think they're at each other's throats, but really they're all hanging out afterwards and smoking cigars and drinking scotch and deciding all this shit. That's something. When we start talking about head transplants and that kind of stuff, then I think we're getting a little off base. But we can talk about how all these different politicians and media people all have the same class interests. They all went to the same elite private schools. They all went to all part of the same little secret societies. And they're working together to advance their class interests at the expense of everyone else. You see how close a lot of these people are? I think that's kind of the fascinating thing about this genre of video, is how close they are. They'll brush up against the reality and the truth, and then they reject it because they've been poisoned. They've been poisoned by anti-communism. They've been poisoned by racism and sexism and misogyny and homophobia and transphobia. So they can't grasp it because they have no class consciousness. Yeah, that's right. It starts with a normal observation, ends on lizard people and Jews. And that's why the anti-communism is such a vital component of Western propaganda. Because then when you don't have the class analysis, you can't go to Marx and Lenin or others. And then you end up going towards Jews and lizard people. That's right. You come so close and the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory comes in. The baby talk nonsense that happens when you don't have Marx. It's really true. It's across the political spectrum. It's proven correct time and time again. Why isn't the show funded by Raytheon? That's why I'm here. I'm sorry. Unless some of you like some of our supporters work for Raytheon and just haven't told me. It may be sponsored by the arms manufacturers and without my knowledge. I'm not even sure how much anti-communism these dudes have explicitly in their head. American socialization, while being anti-communist, emphasizes your fellow worker within your same socioeconomic tier is not your ally, but instead your direct enemy, the one you're in competition with. Yeah, I mean, that's the anti-communism is just part of that kind of like individualistic capitalist sort of mindset. But it's interesting, though. It's so interesting how close a lot of these people are to grasping it. But you see how important that has been to deny them the actual like tools that they could use to really start figuring this stuff out. And in fact, if anyone ever comes along and says like, "Hey, I'm a socialist, I'm a Marxist, I can help you," they'll fucking take out a gun and be like, "Get off my porch," and they'll like threaten that person, even if someone comes along and tries to help them. That's right. They've been trained to believe everything bad about capitalism is communism. Whenever they see their own system that they would die to protect collapsing in on itself, they're like, this is just like communism to me. Start with 100% unemployment. Yeah, for sure. For sure, Brian. If you can make people understand how unemployment is like it's a feature of the system and not a bug. Hello, Dan. You've come to the right place, sir, if you're looking to be radicalized. We're just looking at some of these people freaking out about Trump and how a lot of these weirdos could understand, if they read Marx, could understand how and why they're being fucked over. And I understand if you read Lenin, understand exactly what to do about it. But they've been trained not to do that. So they go into these wacky anti-Semitic bizarre conspiracy theories to explain their alienation, the alienation they're experiencing. It's a woke clone of Trump that's in the courtroom. Exactly. Everything bad that's happened is because of like genderless bathrooms, I think. If they read Marx, they wouldn't be Marx. That's good. I like that. I work in California in a city job that is union, and hella coworkers are talking about how badass Trump is for taking on the New York court system. Trump thinks they're all disgusting hogs. How the fuck do you talk to them? I don't know. I have no idea.
It doesn't matter. So, what's really happening? What if I told you there's a big continuity of government plan and they pretended that the Biden regime took over? What if I told you that most of those people are wearing masks?
Okay, sir, come on. What are these people grasping to this? This is so bizarre. The fake presidency that are all wearing masks to fool everybody. Jesus Christ, sir. Come on now. I wonder too how much these people are associating collapse with communism, because in their mind all communist states end like the Soviet Union. Like how people born in 92 will talk about the Yeltsin years like it was the horrors of communism rather than the return of capitalism. Yeah, and there's that whole like hyper-normalization aspect as well, which people in the collapsing Soviet Union, as described, in that film, were all kind of agreed to pretend things were normal when it was clearly not normal. And I think that's like what America is going through right now. America's like dying empire, and they know that it's not working. They know that it's broken. They know that it's going away. But they can't really, they can't wrap their minds around that. They're either in denial or they're like this guy searching for answers that will explain things. But the idea of capitalism just not working or failing on its own is so unthinkable to them that they go off and make these random associations to try and explain what's happening to their lives. It can't be capitalists that like sent our entire manufacturing industry to China and elsewhere, right? It can't be capitalists that are poisoning our streams and our food and spilling harmful toxic chemicals into the atmosphere and the oceans, right? And then they just can't, they try to grasp at these random straws to try and explain what's going on, rather than just avoid the simple truth that's right there in their face. That all the people that they like and support have encouraged this process.
What if I told you that they're using voice AI technology and CGI? Next level stuff. Even Hollywood doesn't like to put it out because, then people would know. He said, it doesn't really matter who is the president. Fact is, Trump won. Yeah, he did. And you're watching.
But why? If he won, why is this happening, sir? Why is there a fake presidency filled with shapeshifters wearing masks if Trump won? Engaging in all these communist plots and plans. So not beating the denial accusation, no. It's so bizarre. The Rick and Morty shirt is a very nice touch. That's right. It's so strange. Why? This is what they can't explain.
A movie. There's actors. They're wearing face masks. You'd be surprised who's all.
Yeah, I would be.
And you'll see it. You'll see it soon. It's all coming out.
Yeah, any day now.
Because America needed to be woken up. You need to
this
see
is
what
why.
Socialism and communism would actually look like here in the United States. So you got a bunch of good guys wearing masks that are reading scripts to...
Okay, so I'm just trying to follow the logical thread here. So Trump actually won the election, but because America needs to be woken up, they've implemented a fake communist government that's doing all these things. So patriots around the country will be aware of the dangers of this kind of communist system. So they have all these actors wearing masks pretending to do this so that American patriots will wake up and understand this dangerous threat. But isn't then Trump directly responsible for all the bad things that they're mad at, though? This is giving us brain damage, I know. The good guys are hurting people so that everyone realizes who the bad guys are. Yeah. It just makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense when you think about it like that. I want to see more of that guy.
Pertaining to the matter of Donald Trump's indictment, don't worry, he will be set free. You know who else was arrested the same week as Easter under false pretenses? Jesus Christ. You connect the dots. God wins. God is on our side. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless Donald Trump.
Trump is literally Jesus.
Look, I'm not saying President Trump rates up there with Jesus Christ.
You kind of are, sir. He's doing that bit. He's doing that bit that I do. I'm not saying that Trump has anything to do with Jesus and then saying the thing specifically to say just that.
Look, I'm not saying President Trump rates up there with Jesus Christ.
You are,
Jesus
sir.
Was also persecuted for crimes he didn't commit.
You're saying exactly that.
And look how that turned out for us. We got your back, Mr. President.
You are indeed saying exactly that, sir. Just admit it. Just admit it if that's what you think. Yeah, it didn't turn out that well in the end. He's doing the exact bit the other day that I was doing when I was comparing myself to Jesus. Doing some Apple ASMR as well.
Do you believe that God will protect Trump from this evil? I do.
If you're staying silent in this war between good and evil because it's too hard for you to speak up, your children are the ones who are going to have to pay for that.
And that's profound.
In New York. Well, you want to tote around and play your games with Trump to push an agenda that's complete BS. You might hold other people accountable as well. If memory serves me right, Hillary had how many Marines die on her watch and got how many fucking handouts from who knows?
Lock her up.
And while we're on the subject of the Bidens, just found out that they're receiving money, multiple people in his family, from China while he's selling us to China. So if you're going to hold people accountable, you better hold them all accountable. Because God knows they've got skeletons in their closet.
True.
Just for the DA in New York.
Not the China stuff, obviously, but yeah, all these people are corrupt. Lock them up as well. Couldn't agree more. Just checking in on my left-wing friends, since Trump won't be arrested today because you got nothing on him, unlike Joe and Hunter. Oh, here we go. This seems like some good stuff as well.
Those of you that have been following me for a while know that I love a good conspiracy theory, but this one hit just a little bit different today. So I'm sure we all know Donald Trump is in New York dealing with this bullshit indictment. His motorcade was seen leaving the airport and heading to Trump Tower. While I was watching this, I noticed something just a little bit off. We'll watch it together, see if you notice it too. All right, so the video starts off, nothing out of the ordinary. You've got your local PD, you've got your lead cars, which usually house your Secret Service, security detail, etc. It's a lot of Secret Service for a civilian. Then you've got things like communication vans. You've got these extra cars inside the motorcade that are not normal for a citizen.
How the fuck do you know, dude?
That's a lot of vehicles for a citizen. And there's the presidential limo right there. And here's where shit gets funky. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Why?
They're all freaked out by the fact that there is an ambulance in the motorcade. Who cares? There was another person as well. What is the deal with this? Like, why are you freaking out about an ambulance in the motorcade? Who fucking cares, sir? Motorcades will often use ambulances and fire trucks if they need to block a street off. Based on my knowledge and experience from watching NCIS and John Wick movies, I've detected some suspicious elements. They're freaking out about this ambulance. I've never seen... I look at a lot of motorcades, all right? I examine every single motorcade. There is never... This is not proper protocol. No one knows more about motorcades than me. Safety Man on TikTok. I did notice you haven't yet explained the ambulance.
Why is there an ambulance following a presidential motorcade? And I don't want to hear bullshit about Donald Trump is boisterous or whatever. That is a presidential motorcade. That is literally the definition of a presidential motorcade. Look it up. President Obama, when he was in office, he was known for this massive entourage like this that had all kinds of vehicles in it. His motorcade looks exactly like this motorcade. Why is there an ambulance following a fucking citizen? I'll fucking tell you why. Because man is your commander-in-chief. That man is still our sitting president. I know that sounds fucking crazy.
Yes,
I know that it sounds crazy. I haven't made one of these fucking crazy videos in a while. I'm telling you, that man is still your sitting president. And
But
it's
why,
illegal
sir?
to arrest a sitting commander-in-chief. So
why are they doing
shit's
it?
about to get weird.
So why are they doing it? Why are they doing it then? Why? Please, I wish one of these people would say, so here's we can explain the ambulance because he's a sitting president. But why though? Why is he pretending not to be the president if he is? Why? Please, if only one of these, I think the previous person there got as close to like actually explaining that as maybe we've come, you know? This whole idea of like, so there's a fake government that's in place so Americans wake up and see they're pretending to be evil, I guess, so that Americans like this fine gentleman wake up and then understand the threat that they're facing. Which again, logically, it follows that Trump then is their guy is responsible for all the things that the Biden regime is doing that they don't like. 5D chess, the storm is coming. The storm has been coming for 8 fucking years now. The storm has been coming for 8 years. At a certain point, when you wait 8 years for something to happen, which in 2015 was described as happening like immediately, it's happening now. In 2015, I know it's the passage of time disturbs me too. That's 8 fucking years ago. When is this storm coming? After a certain point, after 8 long years, you'd think maybe you'd start asking some questions about this. And wonder if you might have been led astray. Just a little bit. It's like Trump was president. Republicans had Congress and the Senate and the Supreme Court. That was the time when all the big mass arrests were supposed to happen. Right? No. We're waiting till after the midterms when Democrats win, which is, of course, fake. That's when the storm is going to happen because then they're going to be there. So then they're going to be arrested. Oh, no, we're going to do this whole election thing where Trump loses to Biden, but on purpose, but pretends not to be president. That's better than, of course, being the president and having Congress and having the Senate and having all that stuff. You know? Like if you fundamentally break down this play, if you put down this like plan on a piece of paper, starting in 2015 to now, and list all the different steps, you'd think maybe you'd start to wonder like, this doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a genuine prophecy to them for sure. And a lot of it has been this, that's why it is cult-like behavior. Cause it's that when prophecy fails thing just over and over and over again for 8 straight years. Whenever something comes along that conclusively proves wrong or should conclusively prove wrong, everything that they've been advocating for, then it just they just double down, triple down, quadruple down, and reaffirm their belief and believe even more fervently in the thing that they're talking about. I think we're living through the timeline of the Book of Revelation. Well, yeah, and a lot of those people also are in government and are actually trying to make that happen. That's why you have all these evangelical Christian Zionists in U.S. government. Yeah, sunk cost fallacy. Well, I've talked about this before, right? But it's hard to admit when you've been conned, you know? No one wants to admit that they've been conned. So it's like, oh yeah, this thing that I've invested my years of my life now and built my whole personality around, you can't just like admit that that was wrong and dumb, because then like what does that say about you? The QAA boys talk about this a lot, about how it's transformed from prophecy into some sort of national mythos, one that has festivals and shit. Yeah, now they just annually hang out in Dealey Plaza waiting for JFK to come back. These truck decals just don't come off. All these people that thought that I was a fucking idiot will know that I'm a fucking idiot. This could be a disaster. This is just wild, though. These leaps of logic.
Shit's about to get weird.
Yeah, no shit.
I want to know what you guys think down in the comments.
Why do they love JFK so much? Because JFK was assassinated by the deep state, which is actually, as we all know, 100% true and accurate. But then they draw the link between JFK and Trump, which is where it starts to get a little bit more murky.
This whole entire time, I thought Stormy Daniels was a senator or a House member. Something to do with government. I had no idea that she was who she was. So this whole thing about Trump is...
Kind of seems like I haven't been paying much attention to this, sir.
I mean, it's got to be staged.
It's because I'm a huge idiot and literally have no idea about any of the facts of this case that I'm talking about. Obviously, it must be staged. How is that your conclusion? How is that your conclusion, sir? Because I've been barely paying attention to this and I have no idea what's going on. That's proof that this is all this elaborate hoax that's going on. Look at this guy's face, too. I want to see this guy's search history as well. I thought she was a senator, honey. That's why my browser history shows that. That's right. He's just covering his tracks here. I thought she was a senator. I was just Googling her. This is 100% taken on a boat. Yeah, that looks like it looks like boat-esque. The shirt and the glasses too. That's just fantastic though. Just admitting that he has no understanding of the situation whatsoever. But it's like, I'm going to pontificate and draw these wild conclusions from that. You know, when I realize I don't know about something, I go, oh, that's kind of silly of me. Perhaps I'll try and inform myself better so I can understand these things in the future. And these people were like, I clearly don't understand have a basic grasp on the facts of this news story. So allow me to wildly pontificate on it even more than before. How about that? As a boat guy, we don't get a lot of news out here on the sea. That's right. My only friend is a seagull. I don't learn much about the outside world anymore. He's in water world or something. I do love our beautiful boaters. It's true. Let's hear more from this gentleman. It is probably a divorced dad boathouse situation.
I mean, it's got to be staged. What do you think?
Of
what
course.
do you think's happening right now? Is he putting his wardrobe together?
It's called getting dressed. Yeah.
Is he? Who knows? Who knows what he's doing? But I just thought I'd let you know that in case it matters. It helps you in some way. To know that I thought Stormy Daniels was a member of the U.S. government.
How would that help me? How would that help me, sir? To know that. He does look genuinely shook. Yeah, it's true. God. I just say in case it would help you to know that I thought Stormy Daniels was a senator. How does that help me? Please. Please. Oh. I don't know how these videos can get. How many more of these are there? I don't know how they can get better than that. Oh, there's so many. So many more. Okay, let's keep going. It's going to take me the whole day to get through this thread. Oh my God. That event probably makes 5 times my income for sure. Absolutely.
All the common sense people, and I mean...
Yeah, I'll link the thread.
No libtards, no democrooks, common sense people. Think about our friends in New York who are rooting for Trump, who are behind him, and encourage them. Don't get involved in these crowds with these socialist idiots. Do your best.
Democrooks is
calm,
good.
Believe what you believe. Don't engage.
Oh, absolutely, Lana. The vast majority of these people, suburban labor aristocrats, small business tyrants, and/or cops. Yeah, absolutely. They all drive like $85,000 trucks that they've never once put anything in the back of.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to
I
talk
think
through all this.
gone wrong. We're on the same
Reminder
wavelength.
the trucks the hogs drive are worth like 40 to 60K.
I think that's a low estimate. That's a low estimate of how much it is. Thank you, Gone Wrong, for the 10 months tier 1, though. I think 40 to 60 is a low estimate. These people, this is like 75 plus. Yeah, and this guy has a cop thumb head as well. Absolutely.
Stay out of jail and back our president. He needs us now more than ever. We're all smart. We all know exactly what they're doing. We know what they're trying, and we know what they're trying to get away with.
It doesn't seem like you do from a lot of these videos, actually.
So stay safe. Keep each other's backs. I wish I could be there because I'd have your back. And
it's very helpful.
Let's pray and get through this together.
You got to have a plan to get out of the video, sir. Got to have more of a plan. I'll just remind people as well. I'm almost 2.5 hours into this stream, sitting at 3 subs. And listen, I'll just take a brief moment while we're watching this content. I don't want to do a long time to do this, but if you enjoy TRRS, if you enjoy the content, if you like tuning into this show each and every day, if you want to support the work that I do here on Twitch, whether you are a dedicated elite tier community member or a new community member or a lurker, please, if you can, join the community, support the community, subscribe to TRRS on Twitch. It's $5 per month.
Just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
You get all the emotes, some of the very best emotes on this entire platform. It's the very best community on this entire platform.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
So please subscribe. It's $5 per month or completely free of charge with an Amazon Prime account. You can also tip. You can subscribe on Patreon. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can support the content. But please, if you can, subscribe. Every little bit really helps me out. It helps keep this content on the air. The only way I'm able to do this show each and every day is with the extremely generous support of the people in this community. So if you like the show, if you enjoy watching it, if you tune in to this show on a daily or weekly or bi-weekly basis, please subscribe.
You can count
it
on
helps
me
out a lot.
and have good old
I appreciate
Rob
it a lot.
to talk you through all
and
this.
we become friends.
Thanks for the Prime reminder.
We become friends after. And that's real. It's not
can count on
parasocial.
me.
It's
You're gonna have
real.
good old Rob to talk you through all this.
That's okay, Lana. That's okay, Lana. I appreciate the
You've just
the
become
sentiment.
an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Oh my. So again, we become friends, And I'm going to say believe me, I'm going to say thank you to everyone who's subscribing right now. We become friends. It's real. It's not parasocial. We're real, actual friends when you join this community. Thank you, Twitch 6935. Thank you for that.
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Oh my. Oh my goodness. He will look you in the eye in an uncomfortable way and thank you.
Have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
It's not parasocial, it's parasocialist. That's right. And also subscribe to Lana's channel, aka The Freak Museum. Please. As well as the other elite tier streamers in this community, such as Dan Simpson, Lennon Smesh, Unelectable Airwaves. We got a bunch of them. Okay.
You simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
The Chad Bit Stoners are kinda like the petite bourgeois of the Chaos Zone.
That's right. Very true.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Okay, so I got to give a brief thank you to, and thank you for everyone for indulging me this little shill segment. I appreciate it. We'll get back to this content, which I'm having a very enjoyable time looking at with you. We'll get back to it in just a moment. Shirney Pow, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Shirney Pow. I really appreciate it. Pry Bars gifted a sub as well. Thank you, Pry Bars. Basal, thank you for the 3 months of Prime. The Bezos bucks, I appreciate it a lot. Anonymous Gifter gifted a sub to Donald Rumsfeld. That's good. Thank you, Anonymous Gifter. Who also, Anonymous Gifter, I imagine the same person, also gifted a sub to Donald Trump Official. So the big man himself, part of the community. We love it. MaxL49, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Very first 5 gifted subs in the channel. I really appreciate that. MaxL49 immediately rockets right up to that elite tier of the Friendship Triangle, 2-dimensional triangle-shaped trickle-down clout and tiered friendship access tiered reward system. Thank you very much to MaxL49. Thank you, Brian, aka Lennon Smesh, for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you, Diego, for the gifted sub as well. I love you, Diego. Thank you so much for the support. And thanks, Matt, aka Unelectable Airwaves, for the 200 friend coin as well. So if there's anyone else, we do have we're 79% of the way through level 4 of this hype train. There are like emotes and other things that are available as well right now. So if there's anyone else watching that enjoys this content, you enjoy the work that I do day in, day out here on this platform, please subscribe. Subscribe to the stream. I really appreciate it, and it's a really cool and nice thing to do. And it makes me happy when you do. It's like giving me a little smooch on the head. If sometimes you think that you'd want to give me a little smooch on the head and you don't have the ability to do so because of distance or whatever other reasons, you can subscribe to this program, and functionally it's like the same thing. Rob, I want to tell you about my new favorite wrestler. Her name is Chihiro Hashimoto, and she's built like a fridge. That sounds fucking great. What's a 10 bomb? A 10 bomb is like coming up behind me and going,
you can count on me. You're gonna have good.
And like putting her arms around me like that, and just kind of like nuzzling into
I
the
am
neck
a victim
like that.
of peer pressure. Now I'm going to also start smoking and shoplifting to hang out with the cool kids.
That sounds really.
On me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Lana, that sounds really good. You're gonna have to introduce me to this wrestler. When's the next Joshi night? Is it tonight or is it tomorrow?
You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Smooch.
Anonymous Gifter, thank you for another gifted sub to Kid Rock. That's very kind of you. Norm Can't Shoot, thank you for the 11 months tier 1. Very close to an entire year from Norm Can't Shoot. Thank you, Norm. And thank you, In Search of Slack, as well, for the 17 months tier 1. Thank you. Very much appreciated. What would the equivalent of a 100 bomb be? That we don't even need to get into. We don't even need to get into that. Yeah, okay, Lana.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
All right, Lana. You had me at...
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Anonymous Gifter. Thank you for 2 more gifted subs from our most Christ-like of all sub-gifters, Anonymous Gifter. Gifting a sub to Dan Crenshaw and Deng Xiaoping himself, getting a tier 1 sub as well. Wonderful. Thank you very, very much, Anonymous Gifter. Well, we're going to have to watch some more stuff soon, Lana. Okay, so we got 30% of the way to the last record, it says. We got another 2.5 minutes to go. I'm surprised that Deng wasn't already subbed as well. You'd think, though the Deng propaganda I'm spewing constantly. There's also the stuff I send you. Yeah, well, I know, but I'm probably not going to look at it if I'm just like... I just never think of it when I'm just like by myself doing my own stuff. I need to be forced. We do have a Deng emote, Frankster, but you gotta pony up though. I think it's only the tier 3 subs. That's part of the joke. It's because it's building my productive forces. But if you do subscribe at tier 3 to this channel, you can have what I believe is Twitch's only Deng Xiaoping emote. But those are only for, I'm sorry, but those are only for the highly elite community members. Not that you're not elite. Frankster, you are. That's the beauty of the triangles. There's always a higher position though, until you get to the top, which is where I am, you know, but anything below that, there's always a higher position. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of the whole system.
Rob to talk you through all this.
Anonymous Gifter, thank you for gifting us up to Marine Le Pen. All right, there we go. We got some French fascists joining the community as well. Alrighty. Very cool. 1% of the top 1% of Rob subscribers have 100% of the Deng emotes. We do have a really rogues gallery of viewers, and somehow Envy Adams has managed to avoid any of the gifted subs that have been thrown around during this segment. Grom as well. Dodge subs like no one else. If we work our way to the very top of the triangle, do I have to start doing political streams? Do you get knocked to the bottom? I don't know how this works. It's only when you become a threat to me is when it becomes a problem, right? I encourage anyone to get involved with that.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
When it becomes a threat to me, that's when we have a little bit of a problem. That's when we need to have a little discussion. There might be some light purging that happens. Okay, let's continue this segment. Again, thank you, folks, thank you so much for supporting this channel. Really, really sincerely. Thank you to everyone that supports this channel. Either even by just viewing, by tuning in, chatting, watching, but the people that are able to subscribe and support the work that I do on here. I can't tell you how much it means. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Seriously. And subscription, Steve, thank you for the gifted sub as well. No, I haven't been watching. I just didn't get into The Mandalorian. I really liked Andor, and now I'm not really interested in any other new Star Wars property that's not that. For God's sake, don't be nice to chat. They'll get used to it. I can't help it though, Grom. I can't help it. I've tried to neg chat before. I've tried to crack the whip, and it's just, that's not me. It feels weird. And it's not a manipulation tactic at all. It's not. For anyone that was suspecting that it might be, obviously it's not. You would kick a Vader series out of bed? I mean, probably. We've seen too much of this guy now. Vader was cool in small doses. We know too much about this guy. Okay, let's continue this segment. Okay? Let's move on. Thank you again to everyone for supporting the channel. Okay, let's hear from this lady.
Hey folks, what's happening
She
today
didn't
is
put the
very
text
dangerous
in
for
there.
this. How did we get here? How did we let the liberal communists,
The liberal
the ones that
communists.
are bought and paid for by Soros,
Soros-funded liberal communists.
Man. He is a very evil man. Go back and look him up. I'm talking to the right. I'm talking.
It's amazing too, because Soros is an evil man. He is an evil man. Part of the reason that it's evil is because he contributed to and profited from the collapse of the Soviet Union. He contributed to and profited from the crushing of socialism, which is funny because they've all convinced themselves that he's funding socialism when the opposite of that is true. And they're correct that he is this evil, malign influence, malevolent influence for all the opposite reasons of what they're saying. And it's also just using him as an anti-Semitic dog whistle as well. He funds a lot of the same shit the NED does. Exactly. That's why he's evil. Not that these people would understand what any of that shit is. Soros is a bad dude. He runs with a bunch of bad boys. Radical Soros-backed DAs. Exactly. I mean, you couldn't even dog whistle any louder than that. QAnoners are often mad at a lot of the same people we are. They just have a framework that make things even worse. I think that's ultimately what the conclusion is whenever we do this kind of content. We look at this kind of stuff. You know? How close they are, how close many of these people, even with their own misguided and ignorant ways, how close they are to getting it. But how there's still just so far at the same time. They're close, but they're extremely far away at the same time.
To the left. If you knew what he did to his own people, you wouldn't be so giddy. That is who is the puppet master.
The puppet master? Yeah, that's kind of troubling language, ma'am. The puppet master, this random billionaire, this random anti-communist neoliberal billionaire. It's that one guy. Whenever you start talking about Jewish puppet masters controlling society, that's when you get into tricky territory, lady. His own people, that's right, yeah. Which is funny too, because they call him a communist, but they also say he worked with the Nazis. And they hold these things simultaneously in their mind at the same time. He's an evil Jewish commie Nazi. That's what they think, right? That's what they think. Which, as we realize, a lot of people actually agree that the communists were Nazis across the ideological spectrum, not just these reactionary QAnon types, but many liberals and social democrats seem to agree, as we've painfully had to learn over the last year.
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
You mean to tell me the National Public Radio is state-affiliated media? Well, I'll be damned. You're telling me now for the first time. Thank you, Dimitri. We're grossly outnumbered by these fools. That is true. Socialist is right there in the party name. That's right. You know that famous poem? First they came for the like billionaire corrupt real estate developers, socialites. And I said nothing because I was not a corrupt billionaire real estate developer socialite. Why, if they were socialists, why did they come for the communists and the socialists and the trade unionists first? As that poem clearly, which you apparently like, clearly indicates. It's funny how that works, isn't it?
You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Fart Party 69, thank you very much for the gifted sub. Thank you, Fart Party 69, one of our most valued community members. Let's continue. This is very problematic language from this Gam, though.
People like him.
People like him, yeah.
Let the government, let these sick liberal communists play us for big ass fools. See, they don't want Trump. See, Trump, everybody loved Trump. Everybody wanted Trump to run till he came as a Republican. See, the fix was in for Hillary to get elected. But see, people, there was still a lot of Americans that said, oh, hell no. That thing cannot be president of this country. She is evil. And so they didn't vote for her. And the liberals went crazy and they started in with the press and all this stuff. And they turned us against one another.
Before that, Americans all got along great.
The one that they used to love him. But see, he started exposing them. And they couldn't have that. So they had to turn the people against him and against each other. And now they're in our Congress and our Senate and our
more people did vote for Hillary than Trump. That's true. That's all fake, though.
They're crooked.
Those are all MS-13 people.
We don't have to worry about enemies attacking us because we are
exactly, Dakadoon. That's right. If you just become a patriotic socialist, you can go talk to this lady and bring her into your political movement. Do you care about building socialism or don't you? You just have to adopt all this lady's beliefs and then try and suggest that maybe she should get health care. She's going to be right on board.
Destroying our own country. If they can do this to this man.
The lighting is weird. Everything about this is weird with the describe your video thing.
And it's going to be a tit for a tat. There will never be another
I think it's some kind of like auto exposure thing going on
in this country again if we let them get away with destroying our country.
That's right. You might have
destroying what our founders built for us, what we have built.
The founders all owned slaves, ma'am. Yeah, that's what we were talking about as well. The whole Trump thing. Like, if this happens, we have to admit that we have a corrupt justice system in America. It's like, yeah, that's actually true. Yes. If this happens, we will live in a police state. It's like, ma'am, you live in a police state already. There's 2 million Americans in the prison system. There's, in the vast network of torture prisons in the country that you live in, there's 2 million people. You literally have, you cheer on, in fact, militarized police to go into like racial justice protests and assault and arrest the protesters. You cheer them on and you celebrate that. And then you're like, you know what? I think we might live in a police state. It's like, yeah, you do. This is literally the thing that you want, that you get off on this. You enjoy this.
We have to unite and get these.
Oh, this lady looks interesting. This is a sinister gam energy. This is one of those, like, I don't know if there's people out there, you go to your grandma's house and it's this really weird, uncomfortable feeling, and you're when you're a kid and you just can't wait to leave. This lady's grandkids are like this. The sinister vibe. The like Lynchian framing. Dummy Dorko knows what I'm talking about. It's got a weird smell. I don't know.
This is an open letter to our 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump. Dear Mr. President, myself as an American citizen, Want you to know not only myself, but millions more of American citizens stand behind you 100%. We will not sway. We will not turn our back on you. We will not walk away.
Sarah, I have a funny idea for something.
So,
I got to do this. I think it's going to improve the quality of this speech a little bit. If we add this.
This is an open letter to our 45th President of the United States, Donald John Trump. Dear Mr. President, myself as an American citizen, want you to know not only myself, but millions more of American citizens stand behind you 100%. We will not sway. We will not turn our back on you. We will not walk away. We stand firmly on the ground that we're standing on now. Supporting. Sir, it's so sad in our country as it is today that you have been persecuted and prosecuted and pretty much well crucified since the day that you decided to run for President of the United States. From the moment you stepped foot in the White House, the Democratic Party seek to destroy you. They have done everything underhanded, misconstrued everything, led the media to downtrodden you and ruin you also. And the only thing you tried to do was do great things for a great nation. You brought back God to our country. You brought back togetherness. You brought back jobs. You brought us back things to look forward to where we could prosper once again and people could own homes and become millionaires, which is out of the question now. And we love you for it. Many Democrats are walking around with their eyes wide shut, not seeing the reality of the circumstance and the situation and the dire straits we are in right now without a great leader. And a great leader we do not have right now. You know as I know that the Democratic Party has done nothing but witch hunt you for years now. Every way they turn, they want to discredit you because you believe in the people in the United States of America, no matter the race, color, creed, nationality, no matter the religion, nor the...
Well, that works very well time-wise. It's always enjoyable for me when I do these little experiments and just the timing, it syncs up just like completely perfectly. We will not go quietly into the night. We're going to endure. We're going to survive. Side note as well, I think this is one of the most underrated Hans Zimmer scores ever. It's the score to Backdraft. I think someone mentioned Iron Chef as well, which I never watched, but that's the original. It's Hans Zimmer's score to Backdraft. It's so fucking great. I think it's one of my favorite Hans Zimmer scores that he ever did. That was very good. That was very enjoyable.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Lol, no live announcement in Discord? Anyway, hello.
Hey, Lodane, what's up? Lodane, thank you so much for the 29 months of Tier 1 and for everything you do for the community, Lodane. Thank you. There wasn't an out. There did post in the Discord. I don't know. It's there. I see it. Oh, wait. No, I don't. Oh. I was seeing the alert from last night. I see. I guess there was not a live alert in the Discord. Okay. God damn it, Karen, your son's standing in the middle of Afghanistan. That was good. Let's continue this.
You know, we have one man in our lifetime
that had the nerve to stand against the elites that run this world. We had
What
one
did he
man.
do? What did he do? What did he do to stand up against the elites? You know what? I would have loved for Donald Trump to stand up against the elites. What did he do? He worked with the elites. He's a fucking loser. He worked with the deep state. He worked with the conservative establishment. He works with all the most powerful people. He would touch the fucking orb with the leader of the Saudi Arabian monarchy. Like, what did he do to go against the elites? He didn't do fucking anything, sir. You know, it's so frustrating that these people view him as this big fucking hero. And they've created this fantasy version of reality and ignoring the obvious reality, which is he's one of the elites, sir. Good Lord. Here, sorry, I'm not going to scroll all the way up to the top of the thread, but this is the tweet that I'm looking at right now. So if anyone's interested in the thread, you can find it from that link. Yeah, he said a bunch of racist shit that made them angry. That's all that he did to go after the elites. Is that all that fucking matters to you? Seriously, is that all? Because he like said a bunch of racist shit and sexually assaulted women and bragged about it? That's all? And elites didn't like him because he's mean and rude? Is that all it takes? Really? It is the racism. I mean, that is a part of it. Yeah, isn't it? He bailed them out. He cut all their taxes. He gave this guy's fucking boss a tax cut. Thank God this 12th generation king is standing up to the evil monarchist deep state. Serfdom forever. That's right. It's just sad. It's pathetic. No one has done anything to go after the elites. Meanwhile, there's people that actually do go after elites and get assassinated. Like Fred Hampton. Like Malcolm X. Like MLK. Who this guy probably thinks would be a Trump supporter today. And they say Donald Trump is the most persecuted man in history. They think he fought wokeness. He didn't pay lip service to trans and gay issues. Which is funny because on the campaign trail, he even did that. Julian Assange, yeah. Meanwhile, their conditions will continue to deteriorate, which I'm sure will make them even more rational. I mean, this is the thing. This is what we're talking about. This is a result of alienation, like all of this stuff, right? And all these very real economic factors, although like there's some people that are, I think like we were saying, petty business tyrants and gated community 75K truck driving types. But for a lot of these people as well, their lives have just been getting worse for their whole lives. And their opportunities have just dwindled down to nothing. He's not even the most persecuted president of the United States. That's right. God, it's just fucking, it's maddening to think about.
Man who had the courage to put America first, to put the West first, to stop the endless wars.
But he didn't stop the endless wars, sir. He increased Obama's drone warfare program. He got a timeline to get out of Afghanistan. He didn't do it. He was bombing Syria. He assassinated a foreign leader. How is that getting out of the endless wars? He did no such thing. I own a few restaurants and the government's giving my employees state health care, a class of people. Yeah. Thank God my Republican governor said no to that billions of dollars in funding that the federal government offered to give poor people slightly better health care. He was less of a war hawk than everyone else. I mean, even you could say that, but even that is not even really accurate. I mean, again, he assassinated a foreign leader. Like he almost started World War III under his watch. And he escalated the whole Ukraine thing. As much as the libs complained that he was like the Russian ally, he continued arming and funding Ukraine during that whole time. Yeah, and they can say it because he didn't get a second term to start a new war with, for sure.
Did he get in return? Endless investigations. Name dragged throughout the media 24/7. Nothing but a constant barrage of insults, memes, and everything else.
Oh, there's memes. Oh, no. This is the reverse soy face he's doing here. Oh, no, not the memes. I mean, he literally bragged about committing sexual assault on tape. You expect the media to not talk about that? You expect people to not maybe discuss that a little bit? The like audio recording of him like openly bragging about assaulting women. There's memes. This is actually a funny screen grab. He just needs the point to make it the perfect soy face pause. Thank you, President Trump. Oh boy. Thunder there. Sorry, I'm looking out the window because I know there's some freezing rain today. I'm just looking out the window to see if it's all like frozen. Is it frozen? If so, that's maybe a little bit of a problem. I'm a little stressed because my kid went on a field trip today and it's all like freezing rain and gross outside. Oh, you want a point? I can get you a point. I can get you a point by 3 o'clock this afternoon with polish. The storm has arrived. That's right. No, I don't mean snow. It's like ice rain that's just like freezing everything that it touches. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's very icy. Shit. Okay. Wow, I'm a billionaire ex-president's boot-licking, mouth-breathing fanboy. They were mean to the president. Yeah, that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. It's loser behavior. My favorite Trump unhinged soundbite will always be him describing GIs hitting IEDs as they go up for a little ride up and then they come down. Anyone else? I don't remember that one. Anyone else would get crucified by the Punisher bumper sticker guy, but he got off scot-free. Then one of the most true things he ever said, beside the "we got killers" line, which was always my favorite Trump line, but the whole like I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and no one would stop supporting me. That was very true. He should have taken his own advice and not tried to pay off the porn star that he had a bad, weird encounter with. He should have taken his own advice, and then he would not be in the current legal consequences that he's in. He does look like Punisher wraparound shades Rob Reiner. Okay, I got to hear this again. The memes, that's very funny. He's fixating on the memes.
24/7. Nothing but a constant barrage of insults, memes, and everything else. All because he wanted to do what's right for his country.
I can only imagine the kind of Obama memes this guy was sharing on whatever weird conservative message boards he was on in 2012. I'm sure this guy was sharing some interesting memes. The email forwards with his coworkers at the landscaping company or whatever. I'm sure there was plenty of Obama memes this guy was sharing. This guy wants to do pogroms over the memes. I've never seen so many damn memes. It was cruel.
The politicians turn their back on him because they're too worried about their own career.
They supported the conservatives, Republicans supported everything that he did.
The Secret Service, all too worried about their own careers to stand up and do what's right for their own country. Filled with cowards that care more about their career than the actual country going in the dumps. You people should be ashamed.
Hell yeah.
We're going to do a clarification and another quasi-decode. Here's the post.
First indictment.
Oh, this is a Q thing. This is a Q on December 17th, 2019. This lady knows the deep lore. She was there when the magic was written. First indictment unsealed, which was supposed to be about fucking Hillary and all the deep state people. First indictment will trigger mass popular awakening. First arrest will verify action and confirm future direction. They will fight, but you are ready. So, you were... What we thought was that was about this storm when Hillary and all the baddies were going to be locked up. Really, it was something that was going to happen 8 years later or 6 years later, where Trump was going to be the one that was indicted and arrested. Of course, everyone knew this. We just weren't ready.
Mass pop awakening. First arrest verifies action and confirms future direction. Marker 9. But wait, here's Trump's post. See how the word indicted is spelled wrong? Next to a 45? Misspelling is a marker next to 45, which is 9. Marker 9.
It couldn't be that he's just a dummy. The music is great, yeah.
We are in the thick of it. Watch for the first arrest.
It is funny. This is something we talked with Alex Perlman the other day on the podcast, who's a popular TikToker, and we talked about this, how you can say the most lunatic stuff on TikTok, but you put this like spooky X-Files-y kind of music behind it, and all of a sudden it kind of sounds like, oh yeah, you kind of be like, okay, tell me more. As soon as you put the music, but if there was no music, you would be like, whoa. If that was someone just on a street corner saying those things. Yeah, I think that was the Annihilation music, yeah. Oh, this guy looks good.
There's people like me in this world.
Jerry Ferreira. Tell me more about the political world that you envision, Jerry. Wood paneling again. Wood paneling again.
Message to Democrats and Joe Biden in particular.
Joe's going to see this.
People like me in this world. We don't give a fuck about tomorrow. We care about the freedom for our children, for our families.
I'm sure Joe Biden is really scared.
We don't have anything left to lose, Joe. This one's on you. Message to Democrats.
So that's pretty much a direct threat. And just again, I'll say again, I don't think Jerry Ferreira is truly aware of or prepared for the reality of the revolutionary insurgency that he thinks he is envisioning when he talks about these things. This is 100% in an RV on Long Island, yeah. He's the guy that's going to lead him. Exactly. He looks like he would get tired if he just walked up like a flight of stairs.
I will support Trump to the very end. Bottom line, no turning back.
Thank you, Sandman. That's a nice robe. I like that. That at least is a good look. Or is that a robe? It's a shirt? I don't know. Whatever it is, it's got a funky pattern and I'm into it.
Nothing. I guess we're just going to see how far we can take this. That's what we're doing. We're not doing nothing. We're going to see how far we can take this.
That seems like someone who's genuinely planning to do some fucked up shit. Yeah. QAnon Neil Patrick Harris. I would lay my life on the line for the Orange Man. You have no idea how big my life insurance payout is. The former host of The Apprentice. Remember, it's always good to remember that that's what all this is about. All of these people. They're like, my life for you, like the trash can man in The Stand, but for the host of The Apprentice. Always, I think it's always good to remind ourselves, you know?
President, he was no longer in control of his business.
So y'all mean to tell me you really thought that this was going to go somewhere, like literally thought it was going to go somewhere? Y'all are crazy. Okay, let's just go ahead and throw this out there. On January 20th, when Donald Trump became president, he was no longer in control of his business. And every one of the charges, all 34 of them, took place after he was inaugurated as president. Now, do you see the problem with this right here? The Democrats made such a big deal out of him being president and running the business at the same time, so he relinquished it, put it to a trust. So he's not
actually laughing.
This is a joke. So y'all mean to tell me you really thought that this was going to go somewhere, like literally?
He literally just lost his ability to articulate what he wanted to say. Oh boy.
This government has tanks and drones and a nuclear arsenal. What do you think you're going to do with your...
If you think for a second that the government would be willing to use tanks and drones and its own nuclear arsenal on its own citizens within its own borders...
Yeah, the American government would never do bad things to its own citizens.
That is a clear indicator that the government is absolutely out of control. That is a clear indicator that they are no longer fit to govern and they all need to be purged from office. They all need to be arrested. They all need to be investigated. They all need to be tried, and they all need to be convicted and punished for bribery, other high crimes and misdemeanors, as well as treason. Did you not just hear what you said? You want those people to have absolute control and authority over you. No thanks. My ancestors fled Europe to escape genocide. I really don't feel like my children being subjected to that here in America.
I wonder where in Europe they fled from, where they fled genocide from. Maybe Ukraine in like the 40s about? Is that about the time that your ancestors came? Yeah, or he's Irish.
You are out of your mind.
The U.S. government has tanks and...
But that's what I mean. Like, that's what people like this lady say. The U.S. government has tanks and drones and a nuclear arsenal. And that's what I was saying. It's like that's true. And that doesn't mean that like the U.S. military can't be defeated despite having that big technological advantage. Many revolutionary or insurgencies, guerrilla insurgencies in places where the U.S. has fought wars has shown that advantage doesn't even matter. But do the people that make these kind of videos, like this guy, do they have what it takes to carry out such an insurgency, which is a decades-long process, a painful, horrifying process? Do they have what it takes? I'm guessing a lot of them, I think, no, don't.
Money that Obama hid from the FCC, the $1.14 million that he hid in campaign funding. When are we going to talk about Biden being a pedophile? Seriously. All right, so apparently Trump's in trouble for giving money to a porn star. Listen, I'm a porn star, and I give all of my money to a porn star to keep her quiet. It's either that or my gun.
That was kind of odd thing to say. I think a little bit of an odd thing to say. Yeah, you admit it. I think that's one of those ones you really want to keep to yourself more. Between the TikToks and the C-SPAN calls, this American Experience thing is not okay. People are not doing well. It's true. The video's only halfway done, barely. Jesus Christ.
Whatever you want to call it. Third leg. There we go. So how long is it going to be until they charge me for the same shit? I mean, I guess I should...
It's not really the same thing, sir. It's not really the same thing.
This is getting retarded. Seriously. Dumb. When are we going to talk about the Hunter Biden laptop? When are we going to talk about the money that Obama hid from the FCC? The $1.14 million that he hid in campaign funding? When are we going to talk about Biden being a pedophile? Seriously.
And again, yeah, we should lock them all up. We should lock up Biden and Hunter for their obvious and open corruption. And Biden is a creepy old man who's been accused of sexual assault himself. Very true. But again, like many of these people, missing the point that they're trying to make.
Fourth grade, and then I
got to get through these.
Here it is. I found the comment. I had to search a little bit harder.
Putting political opponents in jail just like Hitler.
Right. Mucho respect. Scariest shit what's happening to our country, and people just don't realize it. If they would just...
I mean, the laptop thing, James. I mean, what I think is on the laptop is evidence that Hunter Biden was a drug addict who was like often spending time with prostitutes and filming himself engaging in sexual activity with the prostitutes and doing crack and other drugs. So I think we all understand that, right? I think so that's what's on the laptop. I think the stuff about Hunter that's actually interesting, that gets into genuine corruption, is the whole thing with him getting put into this some kind of like no-show 6-figure job for a Ukrainian energy company when his father is the vice president and is deeply implicated in overthrowing the previous government. I think that's probably more of a serious thing. That has nothing to do with a laptop, though. That's just like the factual reality of like where he worked. You know, that's just the open corruption, which is like legal basically in the United States elite circles. I don't think is there like evidence of the corruption on the laptop? I don't think so. It's like the evidence is right in front of us. Biden helped overthrow the previous government. A pro-US, pro-Western, pro-NATO government came in, and then Biden's son immediately got a cushy job at a fucking a Ukrainian energy company despite having no experience in that industry or no like actual background in it. That's corruption. You don't even need to look at a laptop to know that. Anyway, let's hear more from this lady.
Just go read the history on how Germany ended up in the position it was in. They would realize textbook.
How much reading have you done on that lady?
Right now.
Have you really, Sheila Shoemaker, have you done the reading? Have you done the reading on why Hitler ended up in power? I think you read this comment. I think you read this specific TikTok comment. I don't think you've done the reading. I think that qualifies as doing the reading for you. Yeah, they jailed the communists, lady. That was literally the first thing that they did, as I mentioned in that poem. You have not done the reading or the research, ma'am.
And I don't know why, when I was growing up, was Germany and how that all happened. Because I hated the persecution that happened to those people. I had to do a project on it one time when I was like in 4th grade. And then I had to learn about it. And if you really take a good hard look at how Hitler accomplished that, and then you look at what's going on in our country right now, you go, ding, 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 ding. And Trump is not the problem. Biden and the people behind him are. Here it is. I found the comment.
Very insightful. Oh man, there's even more. This seems like a good account to follow for this kind of stuff, though.
You're absolutely right. but we can definitely Bundy Ranch every single one of them. Act accordingly.
Yeah, and someone mentioned this earlier. I think that's an interesting analogy too. We can all Bundy Ranch every one of them. The thing about the Bundy Ranch is that the cops treated them with kid gloves and did everything to avoid inconveniencing them in any way. So yeah, your revolution is going to go pretty good if the cops and the people that are there to stop you from doing these things are basically your buddies. Yeah. But if they're not like that though, that may be a problem. If you don't get treated with kid gloves, as you see, people on the streets of America are often not treated with the same level of kid gloves. And I don't think the people are going to like the result if that moment ever comes. Yeah, they shot at cops and they didn't retaliate. Yeah, if that's the case, then yeah, your revolution will probably be not that big of a deal. They're doing the Hunger Games thing. That was good. That was a good thread. So I didn't even get to, I wanted to look at Trump's statement and everything last night. We didn't even get around to it, but I got to go soon though. It's been over 3 hours. It's really icy and I got to go pick up my kid from school and I want to make sure I give myself enough time. I don't want to be rushing and get into an accident, or I may walk. I don't know. I have to figure it out. So I'm going to get going. I think, I guess we'll have to look at more of this stuff tomorrow. I don't think there'll be any shortage of this stuff. I'm going to bookmark this thread actually. So I can keep, in case Michelle's been keeping tabs on these people. I'm gonna bookmark that. Happy Meal Wednesday. That's right, Lodane. That's exactly what it is. Oh, and you know what else is happening tonight, this evening, in the TRRS Discord server. It is movie night, and we're watching this evening in the TRRS Discord server one of my favorite films of all time, 1986's Total Recall, directed by Paul Verhoeven, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Michael Ironside, Ronnie Cox, Sharon Stone. One of the greatest movies ever, and 2012's Total Recall. That's right. I watched it. It just doesn't come close to comparing. How do you try to go against Verhoeven at the height of his powers, Schwarzenegger at the height of his powers? Try to do a remake of that. I'm sorry, you're just going to look like an asshole. We're getting those asses to Maz. It's one of my favorite movies. We will be watching that this evening in the TRRS Discord server. John, that's not true. That's not true about Prometheus, what you just said. So please, if you're not in the Discord server, join the Discord server. And if you are in there, we will be watching that film this evening. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. So I got to get going. So we're 2 subs away from the goal, folks. 2 subs away. 2 measly gifted subs could get to the sub goal today, which is nothing. Like that's nothing. That's nothing at all. What do we think? What do you say? If you enjoyed the show, this has been a great show today. I enjoyed all the chatting. I enjoyed this deep dive into the Trump fan freakout. Red Scary, thank you so much for the gifted sub. I appreciate that, Red Scary. Thank you for bailing me out. Despite hating the content and hating the community, Red Scary still comes through to support me. And that's how you know who your good friends are in life. Even when they don't like you, they support you. Jean Charest has just been awarded a bunch of money from the government because evidence gathered during a corruption investigation leaked. He was never charged. Oh, good. The system works. The system works, folks. Make your biggest haters your biggest customers. It's a power move, but who's making the power move? That's the question. Is it Red Scary being alpha, or is it me being sigma? Or is it some combination of the both? Is it not mutually exclusive? I don't know. And now is there a final? Thank you, BBDH, for the 50 friend coin. Thank you for that. Is there a final?
You can count on me. You're gonna have
Iron Forward. Thank you.
Talk
Thank you, Iron Forward, for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Thank you. You did it. Hit the sub goal. I love it, folks. We love it. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel, truly. What are you doing with the money? Paying your bills? That's right. Exactly. Thank you again, folks. This was a very fun one. I really enjoyed doing that, looking at that thread. Thanks to Dakadoon, actually, for posting that in the Discord server so I could react to that. We had movie night tonight. I will see some of you there. I love Total Recall so much. It's such a fucking great flick. So that's at, I believe, 9:15 Eastern. 9:15 Eastern is Total Recall. Me crying, eating cup of noodles, watching Rob do a house tour of his mansion. It was worth it. He's so owned. Even in my mansion, I would still eat cup of noodles myself, though. I just really enjoy it. I just genuinely enjoy it. Oh, for sure, Johnny. That's definitely one of the VHS that I watched a lot. I watched the VHS of Total Recall probably so many times when I was like 10. It's so violent too, like the squibs. It's not like 10-year-olds watched Avengers movies with people getting shot all the time, but it's so bloodless. You see a shootout in a Verhoeven movie and there's fucking gore and viscera flying everywhere. It's really next level shit. We're going to see a lot of good squibs tonight. I'll tell you that much for squib heads out there. See you then.